welcome back to News Across Nigeria. We'll serve up some stories concerning security on the national and state level. But before we proceed, all our top stories can be found on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. Do visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows phones from their respective stores. We'd also like to urge you to please interact with the Eyewitness feature in the Channels TV app on the Android, iOS, and Windows platforms. If you have pictures or videos you'd like to share with us, tap the app on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and follow the instructions. Nigeria's present security challenges may have been a lot better if only past administrations addressed the people's needs as well as that of the military. Now, that's according to the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, while delivering a lecture at the National Defense College in Abuja. He also identified the nation's porous borders as another reason for insecurity.
It was the turn of the Chief of Air Staff to deliver a lecture at the National Defense College in Abuja. As expected, the Chief of Air Staff speaks on the challenges and future perspectives of the Nigerian Air Force. He expresses concerns on the neglect of the military.
The Nigerian Air Force main challenge centers on how to increase its operational capability to enable it to respond more effectively to contemporary and future threats and contingencies. The major constraints are in three broad areas. The first one is funding. The second one is operations and logistics. The last two are in one way or the other driven by the first, which is funding.
Equally of concern to the Chief of Air Staff is the nation's porous borders, which creates room for the illegal importation of small and light arms.
In the future, therefore, warfare in the Nigerian Air Force will be driven by technologically based and mission-centric approaches capable of supporting the national security and development aspirations of the nation. A look at the changing nature of air warfare and its implication on the future of air warfare is therefore imperative.
Nigerians, however, have cause to cheer as the Chief of Air Staff announces plans to review the operational processes of the Nigerian Air Force with an upgrade of its units and the establishment of a special force to enhance the air capability of the Nigerian Air Force.
From the Air Force for the Nigerian Police, community policing is a concept that could go a long way towards reducing insurgency and other criminal acts. The Inspector General of Police, Mr. Solomon Arase, made this known while addressing participants of Course 24 of the National Defense College in Abuja. The police boss says the engagement of non-state actors, such as traditional rulers and community leaders, is needed in the fight against insurgency.
The lecture series for participants at the National Defense College continues with a presentation by the Inspector General of Police. The Inspector General of Police advocates community policing, saying the police cannot be everywhere.
You cannot police your community except you understand the socio-cultural environment in which you are policing. So it is very, very important that if police officers, our numeric strength is such that we cannot deploy everywhere. So I will expect any good divisional police officer or any commissioner of police, once you are able to get into your states, you crime map it. You know what are the trends and patterns of crime in that particular state. What are the trends and patterns of crime in that particular division. Then you look at the people who can assist you in getting information that can be processed into intelligence.
Although the police boss laments the inadequate funding of the force and other challenges, he assures Nigerians and other residents that the Nigeria police is becoming more responsive and accountable to the people.
You know, they're beginning to have some restraints, you know, and sometimes we'll be having issues of extrajudicial killing, and I've told them, you shoot any Nigerian, you are not immune to criminal prosecution. Within 48 hours, I charge you to court and jail you, because you don't have a right to take life, because you don't have the powers to give life to.
With an intelligence-led and technology-based policing methods, Mr. Arase is optimistic that reclaimed territories in the northeast can be secured and Nigerians can go to bed with both eyes closed.
From the Federal Capital Territory in the north central to the southwest, and concerning health, and remember the Lassa fever outbreak, well, the Osun State Ministry of Health says that the death recorded of a resident doctor at the Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospital was suggestive of Lassa fever and not confirmatory. Addressing newsmen in Oshogbo, the state capital, the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Pt.2 Oladele, who debunked the report of an outbreak of Lassa fever in Osun State, said a second sample was not taken for confirmatory diagnosis before the patient died.
Actually, 2 specimens were supposed to be taken. Unfortunately, the patient died that same day, so a second specimen could not be taken. So as we speak, we just have a preliminary report that is suggestive. And let me tell you that the victim in question shuttles between the neighboring state and the state of Osun. And he was actually ill in and out of that state before coming to report over the last weekend in our hospital at Ife. We have actually stepped up a lot of activities in creating awareness to the public. We have done a lot of sensitization. We have done stakeholders meeting. We have actually done a lot to combat this. And let me reassure and reaffirm that the state government of Osun is fully prepared, and we are fully on ground to contain any spread of Lassa fever into the state of Osun. And that state in question is the only index case. And as we speak now, we have not had any other reported case from anywhere in the state of Osun.
Staying in the health sector, the federal government has launched a public call center for disease control that will serve the country on all public health emergencies. Launching the center, the Honorable Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adeole, reiterated the determination of the present administration to provide access to healthcare information that will keep diseases away from Nigeria. He urged Nigerians to avail themselves of the opportunity provided by the center to help government prevent diseases, especially in the current Lassa fever outbreak. The minister called on citizens who have symptoms of Lassa fever to call any of the numbers, which are 10 in number, to 19 from anywhere in the country. The numbers are 097 010 to 19 from anywhere in the country, and such will be directed to the appropriate state epidemiologist or refer them to the nearest health facility. The minister also said where possible, patients could be picked up from their locations and taken to the nearest health facility. He assured the public that anyone that uses the call facility will certainly receive help. Again, the number is 097 010 to 19. The National Emergency Management Agency has organized a drill involving a simulated plane crash with several pretend victims. The exercise, which took place at the Oworonshoki axis of Lagos State, also had officials of the National Airspace Management Agency, including the Air Force, the Navy, and the Red Cross. Our correspondent, Mary Alale Yusuf, reports.
This is the Obasaliu waterfront at Oworonshoki, the site of the Bristol copter crash in 2015. And the National Emergency Management Agency has gathered safety agencies and the armed forces to simulate a plane crash and the responses that should follow. Some of us take a boat to watch what happens from the waters. After a while, the wreckage is spotted. The Navy, Air Force, as well as divers swing into action. Some people are rescued. It's time to airlift the victims. There are some unsuccessful passes, but finally a victim is lifted up. There's a carrying technique, and the Red Cross pitches in to administer first aid. Finally, victims are placed in the ambulance to be taken to the hospital. All parties involved in the rescue operation feel that the exercise has been a success.
The golden hour was achieved. The response time to other incidences, particularly when there is a crash, with what has happened today, peradventure it happened, the response time was very articulate and okay.
The NEMA director goes on to explain why it took a while to airlift the victim.
The downwash of the helicopter was causing the wreckage to shift position. So he had to go around, found to locate the best angle from which to rescue the person.
But there are areas that do need to be improved on.
Before, when the citizens rush into the place, we only see the community. But now we are noticing now too that it is not only the communities that are always crowding the place too. Some stakeholders too, they come there and they are crowding.
Capacity building, particularly enhancing training programs on search and rescue.
The agencies are going back to the drawing board to improve their strategy. But for now, they give themselves the thumbs up. Mary Alale Yusuf, Channels Television News.
Coming up on News Across Nigeria, the Ekiti State Government invests in the environment for revenue generation. Please stay with us.